online fitness platform with cycling classes and off-the-bike classes taught by me.
Talk about lemons to lemonade.
As I started looking for equipment, everybody I spoke to.
Today we want to talk about how much cycling you need to do each day to lose weight. Hello legends and super legends, welcome to Veloharmony. In today's video I want to go along the theme of talking about, we've been talking about the keys to cycling improvement, managing your cycling burnout and so forth. And I wanted to make this video for our archives in the weight management section. I've gotten a lot of questions from legends and other people about how much cycling you need to do to lose weight. It's not a magic number. So you need to think in terms of when you put on weight, you're not paying attention to it. Your lifestyle has changed. Somehow maybe you got a job where you're working more hours and then your activity goes down and you continue to eat normally. Whether your diet's perfect or not, doesn't matter. There is no such thing. I believe that you eat what you crave because your body kind of tells you what you need. But let's say everything else being the same as far as the intake of food, when your activity goes down and you're more sedentary, you will gain weight because you're not burning the calories that you're taking in, unless you adjust the consumption, their volume. But a lot of times when you get really busy, people tend to skip meals and then we binge because when you get hungry, you don't make good food choices. So there's a combination. So if you want to lose weight in cycling specifically, I believe the key is that you don't focus on how many calories you need to burn or how much cycling you need to do. You need to keep your mind on the fact that you need to be consistent with your cycling. What do I mean by that? Don't ride once in a while and expect to lose weight. That's not realistic. That's not going to happen. So you need a plan. You need to come up with a plan, set your goals. Your goals are, I want to lose weight, or I want to be healthy, I want to be fit. They're all examples of goals. If you have high blood pressure, you say, I want to not have to take high blood pressure medication. That's another goal. But to achieve your goal, you have to be consistent. Come up with a plan and stick to the plan. Ride frequently. You eat every day, so you might as well ride every day. And the reason why you need a plan is you can't ride hard every day, and you don't want to ride hard if you're trying to lose weight. You need to be in the right zone so you can burn fat calories that your body's been storing as you were sedentary. Plus, you don't want to start a new program riding too hard because then you'll probably get tired of doing it because you'll be too worn out because you're not in shape yet. So you need to start slowly and build up. And then you need the proper tools for cycling. Cycling is not like running, where when you're moving, you're just running, regardless of whether the wind's behind you, in front of you, just that fact that you're running, you can get into a decent workout zone. With cycling, if the wind's behind you, hello, legends and super legends. Welcome to Veloharmony Live. We're operating on all cylinders today. I've been dodging rain and, got some K's in. This Monday, we are celebrating the United States Independence Day. This is the celebration for July 4th, which was Sunday. So the official celebration is today, Monday, and all the federal offices and the banks and so forth are closed in observance of our Independence Day. So a lot of people posted on some of the local boards, the Team RR board, metric century question, like 62 miles or whatever. So I got in more than that. Got in about 5.5 hours today and didn't get rained on much. The rain is scattered showers. Those of you who are in Florida and places, you know what we're talking about. You can see the rain starting, you ride into it and see the rain ending. It's like you're getting a private shower. That's the kind of rain we had today. Nothing to really get you too soggy. It was nice. Saw a few riders out there that I could wave at. We're going in different directions. But it's great to be here chatting with you all. Maintenance Monday. So if you rode this weekend, this is a good day to check your bike. Make sure everything's rolling. Everything's functioning fine. This is, we're just here hanging out. Today is a rest day in the Tour de France. And so there's not a whole lot going on. What do they mean by rest day?
the guys are going to ride. Thank you, Steve. Steve Fisher said he enjoys the content. Thank you, Steve. That means a lot, believe it or not. We've tried to stay true to the course over the time we've been doing this and not get influenced by the marketing side. We've had a lot of people contact the channel, which was nice, but they want to control what you do, how you do it. So that's why I don't have a lot of sponsors, because I want to just be honest. You know, it's like, don't send me a crappy product and tell me to say it's good. No. So being honest, I don't have to think about it. So the content just flows because we live it. So it's great to hear that. And we attract the right kind of people here, people who want to hear the real deal. So that's great. That's nice to hear. But anyhow, so I got up this morning. Actually, my wife kicked me out of bed. She insisted that I go ride because Sunday I was going to ride. I had a live session and I said I was going to ride, but then the heavens opened up, but it was like 6 p.m. So I maybe had less than 2 hours. I'm not going to go and get wet just for an hour or so on the bike. So what I decided to do was the things I had planned to do Monday, I did it yesterday and it freed me up. So this morning I was out early and I got almost 5 hours in on the bike. Just, you know, good quality work. It was great, great, great. Kerwin Burnett said, I'm liking the new channel look. What this is, Kerwin, is the channel has not really changed, but what I'm doing is, and in a way, yeah, I guess it has. What I've decided to do was up the quality of the live streams. We have almost 600 and something, 666 videos out there. And it reached the point where I wanted to do a little more live to really get down to addressing things that the members and the channel subscribers need. And so, you know, a lot of channels on YouTube, a lot of cycling channels, but not very personal. And I wanted to be different. So yes, I invested the time over the last couple of weeks, I guess. It took me 5 days to learn the software called OBS. You've probably heard of it. It's some free software. Everybody's using it, you know, and even YouTube Creator Studio recommended it and all of that. I didn't want to get into anything where I was paying and then having people do the branding, because then they limit what you can do. But like anything that has a lot of flexibility, they say it's free, but there are no instructions. And, you know, being a software guy, I don't have a problem picking up new software. But for the average person, OBS is hard. But once you get it, then you see the workflow and it begins to make sense. But what that work does for you, it gives you flexibility. I can build anything I want here now. I can bring guests in and all of that. So this will continue to evolve. Those of you who have followed this since I started doing it, you probably have noticed I had audio issues and all of that, because YouTube Creator Studio, they offer assistance, but they don't really know OBS that well. And some of the things they told me to do didn't really work very well. But now I've got the things worked out to where I'm at the point where now I'm actually enhancing stuff. So you will begin to notice that things are going to be more robust and smoother and all of that. I didn't get into buying stream decks and all that kind of stuff because it's a lot of outlay of funds. The channel doesn't have a lot in the coffers right now. So I wanted to keep things down to just my labor and my time. And this has been really a labor of love. I've really enjoyed learning OBS. I've got it down and I can see now why it is difficult. But once you pick it up, it's really good. I didn't buy any overlays and all that stuff. What you see is what I've built, because I build my own thumbnails and all of that. So the live Q&A that you see there, I made my own overlay. And then I've got like Let's Talk Cycling and whatever else. So it just makes it to where the branding is consistent with the other videos. That's why you see the mural when we start. So I've been able to, I chose this software because it allowed me to do it hands-on, as opposed to buying a package and paying a monthly fee, and then they would dictate how the channel would look. So it's good to hear that. I'm glad you guys like that, because that was the whole point. I wanted to keep it looking like a video, because once we talk, it's recorded. So those who miss it, they can get it, you know. So let's see. Karen said, I totally understand. Do the same thing for my work for training. Thank you. Thank you, Karen. I appreciate that. It's very good. I love the software now, but at first I was like, man, this is like, I worked with business software a long time ago called Oracle. This is similar. You have a lot of choices, which makes it difficult. But once you get it down, then you begin to see, wow, this thing really has a great amount of scalability. So I can do so much more now. And what you guys saw before the stream started was now I can tie into the playlists and have things running if we have intermissions. As this stuff grows and we have to take a break, I can run intermissions and have videos running and different things. And in fact, I can even show behind the scenes stuff during live sessions. I can show Final Cut Pro and some of the videos I'm working on. I may be able to do that today. But what I was leading to was that people have asked that I display power in a larger font. And the font that we have been using is set up to where it allows you to analyze graphically the relationship between how my heart rate is tracking zone-wise versus power. You know, people probably don't get into that. And so what I decided to do to address that was I put a different field, data field for power on the right side of the film that's coming out tomorrow. From the ride yesterday, we rode in the rain. I put something on Instagram, a little picture. Had a blast in the rain. I really loved the rain. You know, it's just the roads are clear. It was great. It was just I really enjoyed it. So we took some clips. And the thing around here, it rains for a little bit, then it stops. So you're going in, rain, stop, rain, stop. So, you know, it's not torrential rain continually all the time, you know. So it's kind of good, yeah. But it's good to hear that because I put a lot of time into it, and I really liked the results as it evolved. And I just like, wow, this is really cool. And now I'm able to incorporate other systems into this if I choose to, like to invite guests. I could use StreamYard, have them go there and then put that in a browser source, bring it in, and just make it look seamless. So that is endless. And that's another reason why you have to have a goal. And once you achieve that, then you start streamlining, because otherwise you would just be going down the rabbit hole. So it's great to have you all here. Let's see who all we have here. We've got Michael Mandarino, Steve Fisher, of course. Paulie Lunga is here. My brother is here. Good to see all of you here. It's great. This is Maintenance Monday. My brother, I was able to get some serious casing this morning. I saw our friend Jerry when I was coming home on Flint Ridge. He was going north, and I was coming back around noon or so. So he was out there. There were very few riders that I saw. There was one guy I saw, and I told my wife I was going to talk about it, and she's, but it wasn't anything bad. So we're riding. I wasn't riding with him. I was coming up Flint Ridge. They have the road closed because they added they repaired a lane. And so about maybe a mile is closed. They have barriers, but us bikes can go through the barriers, and it's fine. It's closed to cars right now. They're letting the concrete cure. So we've got 2 lanes, no traffic, no nothing. And so I was riding south, you know, and this guy is in front of me. I just saw the cyclist in front of me. And we get to Goslin and Flint Ridge, and so he made the light. I didn't. But just then, thunderstorms right there. Heavy drops, you know. I kind of, no big deal. It didn't rain enough to even get me very wet. You get water on you, it just really evaporates, you know, so it's great. You're cool. It was in the 80s. You know, got a little muggy out there, you know, went out our favorite road, Spring Branch Road, but yeah. So it's kind of like, but the guy gets through the light, and because of the rain, he stops under the trees because there are a bunch of trees as you get through the intersection once you cross. So he stops there. So he stands there waiting for, I guess the trees are his umbrella. And so the light changes, you know, I got my mud guards on and everything, and I don't care. Light changes, and I just blast off. And so he looks back, and I was like, morning, and just kept on going. Mud guards and everything in place. I'm not sure why he sought cover, but I think maybe it's because he was wearing glasses. And people who wear glasses for sight, when you get raindrops on it, it's a pain. You can't see. And you guys will see that in the video that's coming up tomorrow. Even though I don't need my glasses to see on the bike because they're just shades. But once you get the raindrops on it, I'm better off taking it off and sticking it on the back of my head. And you'll see me try to do it, and there's a gust of wind, so I got to wait, and then Paul's like, be careful. So I think that's the reason he stopped on the trip, maybe one of the reasons, but it was actually a welcome rain because it cools you off. Let's see here. Steven says, been raining here in Scotland as well. Been on the spin bike. Does the spin bike help performance, or is it just a sweat fest? No, it's not a sweat fest, and it doesn't have to be a sweat fest. I think you need to run, if you're not running fans, then yeah, not a good idea. You want some kind of fan, and you want to run it at an angle to your body. You don't want to run it in front of you. You can run it from the side to where it hits your shoulder and your back, and then turn it on till you get that evaporative cooling. You should not ride indoors without any kind of airflow. And yes, it does help performance because your body does not care whether you're outside or inside. It's working. If you're doing the work in whatever zone you're doing it in, you're working. So no, it's not, it works. I mean, I only do it if I have to, because like most people, I find it boring. I guess that's why Zwift is very popular, because it's entertaining and you can ride virtually with people all over the world. Yeah, but yeah, definitely get a fan. You don't need to spend a lot. I have a little fan, diagonally, maybe 17 inches. Not very big. Maybe. Let's see. Let me do my hands like this. I would say if I cup my hands, maybe like that. Not very big. It's on the floor. It has a stand. It's made by a company called Vornado, Vornado. And the reason I like it because it's quiet and it blows almost like an industrial fan, but it doesn't look industrial. I got it from Amazon. So if you look on Amazon UK, the brand Vornado, Vornado, they've been around forever. They do stuff like that. So yeah, you definitely want a fan. That's a requirement. Any kind of indoor work, because you will sweat, and then keep a towel nearby, or some people will lay a towel on their stem so you can wipe your face, because with the fan blowing, you won't drip that much on your bike and you won't overheat. But you definitely need your water bottles and your fan and all that if you're going to be on there. So when I do trainer work, I try to keep it short to where I can do some in the morning and then do some in the afternoon if I can't get out, if I'm preparing for something. But if I'm not really preparing for something specifically, I'll just take the day off and try to make it up like today. I was supposed to ride yesterday evening according to my plan, and then the rain started pouring. I'm like, I only got an hour and a half of daylight. I'm not going to go get wet for that. But today I did 5.5 hours. Serious work. So, it feels really good. So as long as you're not going more than 3 days, you're not going to lose that much fitness if you're getting ready for an event. Right now I'm not training for any competition or anything, just staying fit because I like to ride my bike, period. So I try to be a little more flexible than when I used to compete. And so the guys who are competing, they basically get in the morning, get on the trainer. You probably heard about a rider who trained on the trainer and then went and won Paris-Roubaix. I don't remember his name right off, but I think he's Australian. So it's kind of like, I don't think that it's something that you really need to worry too much about. I understand being consistent is important. So so that's a good thing. You get that fan, you'll be good to go. Let's see here. All right. I just went ahead and removed that comment about riding with Trump because he must have gotten lost. He's not a cyclist. So what I did is I removed this comment and removed him from the channel, period. We don't have time for that foolishness. This is a cycling Q&A. Only cyclists should be here. So he got into the wrong room. So YouTube allows you to block them or remove. I just blocked them. You can go somewhere else. We need people to use this time to get useful questions answered. So anyway, my plan tomorrow is Tuesday. I'm going to get back on my regular plan. I rode pretty hard today, a lot of hills. I've been testing this, the power pedals that are made by Garmin, the rally pedals. And so far, they've held up. I'm having no problem. My only challenge with them is when you calibrate early in the ride. But I don't know if it's necessarily the pedal. I went and looked up. I get all these error messages. And so I went and downloaded the error messages from Garmin for the head unit. And it basically relates to the pedals. They have all kinds of error messages. So I kept getting a 1028. So I just typed it in on Google, what's a 1028 error? And it said that the pedals were not awake, which didn't make any sense because before I calibrated, I spin the pedals because you cannot calibrate while you're clipped in. So I would spin it and then turn on the head unit, and the head unit would read that the pedals were there and ask me if I want to calibrate. I would say yes. Then it would sit for maybe 5 seconds and then say 1028 error. And then what I found would fix the issue was I'd have to go into the sensors, disable the power unit and re-enable it right away. I'm not removing it, just disable, enable, connect, boom. Then you get the torque. It will tell you 0.06 torque, which means it's successful. You get a check mark. But they say you have to do it every ride. Other than that, there's nothing else you have to do with it. Oh, somebody just asked a question about the Tour de France. I guess he said, how do you determine who's in the lead of the Tour de France? I think that's what he's saying. Leonard Peterson. Welcome, Leonard. The leader of the tour is the person who covers, of not just the tour, of any stage race. The person who covers the distance in the least amount of time is the leader. So, yeah, I know what you're driving at. So how do you figure that out? So let's say, for example, hey, PJ, Peloton Joe, I'm always in the lead when I ride alone. That's funny. Anyway, what happens is this. Like, for example, let's use yesterday's stage, Pogacar. Pogacar, even though he didn't win the stage, the people who were closest to him could not stay with him on that last effort on the last climb. So he got there 30 minutes. He got to the finish line 30 minutes earlier than Carapaz, Van Aert, and the other guys. If that continues, compared to those guys, he will be ahead of them. Right now, he's ahead of everybody. So the way they do it is the first stage, let's say stage 1, we go, Mark Cavendish, all these guys that sprint. Usually, if you remember, a lot of times the early stages, the sprinters get in the yellow jersey. And this year we had, what's his name, MVP in a yellow jersey. Well, the person who wins the first stage, usually, depending on, like, for example, the last champion for last year will come in with the yellow jersey. So Pogacar had the first yellow jersey because it was basically like last year's champ. After the first stage, whoever wins that sprint, depending on how much time they put on that guy, they become the leader of the stage. So if they win the sprint and Pogacar is 1 second behind, it doesn't matter that he was last year's winner. He loses that jersey. He may get the green or whatever else. From that point on now, they go through different stages. And if you know, the guys who are close, what they say close in the GC, they try to stay near the front to stay out of trouble and not to lose any time on each stage. Whether they're sprinting or not does not matter. All they're trying to do is, I'm going to keep my eye on this guy who I know has the ability to win the whole thing. Because not everybody can win the Tour de France. So they watch the necessary people that will be in contention, like say week 2, week 3. And they try not to lose any time to them. But while they're doing that, there are other people gaining time. Like, Van der Poel gained time. Alaphilippe won a stage. He got the yellow. Van der Poel came, took the yellow. By getting to the finish line before the next guy, depending on how much time you are behind, you become that day's leader. Then the next day, if you don't lose any more time to the person's closest to you, you will stay in yellow. Now, if somebody is 20 seconds behind and let's say the next guy is 2 minutes behind, you don't worry about the 2-minute guy. You worry about the 20-second guy. because that 22nd guy just has to be 21 seconds ahead of you to get your jersey. That's how they determine the leader. They look at everybody crossing the line. On each bike, they have some kind of unit to make sure in recent years, they track each of those riders so people don't take shortcuts or whatever. Because back in the day, guys used to do other things when this technology was not there to get from A to B. They didn't cover the whole course all the time. You know, there's always people taking shortcuts. So they know where each rider is. So when somebody wins the stage, what you see on the videos and on TV is they show the stage winner, then they show the top 10 or whatever. Well, remember, if you ever been to a bike race, there's a long time after that, people are still coming in. Because remember, especially in the mountains, they got groups all over the road. And those guys are still coming in, and they're taking time on everybody. The reason to do that is there is a group in every race called the gruppetto. The gruppetto is like the slow group where the sprinters don't want to waste their energy. They know they can't win the tour anyway, and they can't climb like the light guys. So what they do is they all ride together to encourage each other and keep the pace high enough to where they don't fall outside the time limit. There is a time limit. They don't give you the whole day to take your time to finish the stage. Depending on when the leader finishes, they might give you 20 or 30 minutes that you got to come in within that time to be able to stay in the race. Otherwise, you get eliminated. So there's a lot going on. But it's basically taking on, whoever has the quickest time. So overall, for the whole stages, whoever crosses all the finish lines until they get to the last stage in the least amount of time is the winner. There have been tour winners that never won a stage, but they still won because they had the lowest time. Le Mans was one of them because he didn't have that good of a team on some of his his tour wins. So he was able to win the yellow just by using his smarts and didn't necessarily have to win a stage to do that. All right, let's see here. Who do we have down here? Che West Boy, welcome back. Cycling style. He says, how do you describe the first week in the Tour de France this year? Very exciting, very refreshing. I like that. Nobody's cage. There's not a whole lot of caginess going on. These guys are just letting it all hang out. So yeah, it's nice to see. And they had tours like this back in the day when you had that crazy Hinault that would just take off, or when Merckx used to race, put 10 minutes on the peloton. So yeah, this is good to see. These boys are letting it all hang out. In other words, they're saying you got the legs, you go. And that's really what you have to do because the human body is unpredictable. You're feeling good, get as much time as you can. So if you have a bad day, if you're far enough ahead, you can just maintain your, a reasonable amount of time and save your losses. So yeah, these boys are riding. You get good form. No gifts. You're feeling good, go for it. I like that. So yeah, this is exciting. I'm watching. That's why I'm doing these reviews every day. Otherwise, I wouldn't be following it. Because I watch it and then I do the highlights. So JT Byrne, he says, I'm 58. Oh, you're a little kid, man. 58. In dog years, we're all dead. Don't worry about that. It's just a number. I'm 58 and I get out on the bike when I can. Not many miles are fast compared to you. I managed to get the heart rate up, and just love being on the bike. I think it will extend my life. Well, you sound like me. I love riding my bicycle. That's why I ride. It's fun. That's why I don't let people deter me. Yeah. It's fun to ride a bicycle. And when you get on a bike, you forget all the little niggling issues that we take seriously. It's good to get out there, clear your head. You solve problems on the bike. So yes, it will extend your life. It keep you that's why I say keep the doctors fired. Who wants to sit in a doctor's waiting room when you can be riding your bike? Yeah. Because the human body is a machine. You are supposed to use it. And with our lifestyle in the Western world, we sit too much. And you pick up sedentary diseases when you don't use your body. So yes, you are correct in your assessment. Not only will it extend your life, it will extend the quality of your life. Who wants to live long lying in a hospital bed? Yeah. So yeah, you got that right. Just get busy moving. Whatever it is. You can't ride, run. You can't run, walk. Just get out. That the human body is meant to be used. So yeah, you're right on track. You're a young man, got your whole life ahead of you. Leonard Peterson, he said, I get it now. Thanks for that. You're welcome, Leonard. It's not that complicated. If you only look at the GC classification every stage, you will see people moving up and people falling down, moving. Yeah, there's changes going on, especially in the mountains. Yeah, that's fun. I'm glad I was able to explain that. It's not always clear cut, but that's what it's about. Let's see here. Jay West, he said, a serious question. Let's see. He says, a serious question I have is, what in the heck has happened to Peter Sagan this year? Nothing wrong with Peter. That crash. I don't think it was the only thing. Remember, it's just been 1 week. So Peter is a good climber. Once they get to the mountains consistently, like the Alpine, those Alpine passes, he'll be ahead of a lot of the sprinters. Now, Colbrelli is showing that he can climb. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on with Peter, but depending on how the year has gone, and then the crash that he had, he fell and slid for a long time. They didn't show it, but I went and I read, and he said that it was pretty bad. He got all bruised up. So, yeah, it takes a little bit for the body to recover. Look at my man Primoz. Primoz had to withdraw. And it was good that he withdrew because his body was not responding because it was using energy for him to heal. He had all kinds of bandaged areas on his leg. So he just withdrew. Let him go rest. He'll be back. Fight another. It just didn't go well. Remember the year where Chris Froome had to withdraw because he couldn't even hold the bars because he had so many crashes and it was cold? Yeah. You just got to call it quits sometimes because the human body has a finite amount of energy. So if you're injured, it's got to use energy to heal you. So there's no energy for you to tap into to start doing 500 watts up those climbs. That's really what it is. Now, Peter is still in the race because he probably feels that maybe he'll get going in week 2 and week 3. We'll see. He's still hanging in there. But remember, even with the crash that he went through, he's still in there. Except for this mountain stage, he's like 5'6". He's there. And he's not a pure sprinter. He's more of an all-around strong boy, So he's not like the fastest guy, but he's one of these hard guys that can sprint when there's an uphill finish or something like that, Yeah, so it's a unique talent. He'll show you something if he's going good. It's hard to say it's a 3-week race. It's hard to say how people are going to be going. And that's what I meant when I said if you feel good, get all the time you can get. Like Pogacar going yesterday and getting 30 seconds, let him get whatever he can get. Because if you have a bad day or you have enough of a buffer, then you don't have to panic. Because the human body is different. You can't predict how you're going to go from day to day, let alone 3 weeks. That's a long time to be racing. So they're resting today. What these guys are going to be doing, they're probably riding 2 hours, hour and a half, zone 2 or so. That's what we call tranquil in English. I think they say tranquilo in Spanish. They're taking it easy, just easy, turning the legs so the body doesn't forget, so your system doesn't shut down. So you're ready to go the day after. Yeah, a rest day in a long stage, you don't want to take the day off. Go ahead and spin so you don't have blocked legs. So that's what these boys are probably doing today. All right, let's see here. If Team UAE aren't strong enough to protect Pogacar, would he simply sit behind a GC attacking team like Ineos and let them tow him along, or does he need other teammates with him? It's always good to have teammates, but it's not required. I'm going to bring my man Le Mans back into it because he won a tour where he was with... Agrigel Botikia team. The guy didn't even want to pay the members of the team. They have financial problems, all of that. I think it was the 89 tour. So he didn't have any team. Even Fignon was giving him, the late Laurent Fignon was giving him a hard time about him not taking the lead. And he said, I'm not going to go to the front so you can attack me. Having teammates means that you can put somebody out front so you don't have to be under pressure all the time, and you can sit in and kind of watch other people. But yes, consistent with what you said is there's nothing wrong with him just sitting and following Ineos. But he's going to focus on following guys like keeping his eye on Ben O'Connor. And I think whoever's in third place, he's going to watch it because the third place is like 5 minutes or something. So Ben's the closest guy to him. So even if you don't have teammates, all you want to focus on is what is that team doing? What is Ben's team doing? Where is Ben? Meaning when they're riding, he's going to keep Ben in sight. And Ben's going to stay near the front too, because since he's in second place on the GC, he doesn't want to get caught in some stupid crash at the back or something. So his team would be near him just in case he has a flat. The biggest risk for Pogacar is that if he has any kind of mechanical or whatever, nobody's there to like give him a wheel or whatever. But hopefully he won't have to deal with that. That's the only thing, because when it comes to the mountains, man, it's kind of mano a mano. There's no drafting going on. You got to put down the watts when you're going up. Now, his risk will be on, let's say if there's a flat stage with crosswinds and all that kind of stuff, he just has to be alert. Because if you're strong, you can ride with the other guys. You don't have to take poles. It's not required. And they'll understand that you're exposed. There's no team. They'll understand. You know, they're not going to be mad at you because you don't pull through. They'll understand that you're just protecting your position. So what he's going to do is keep Ben O'Connor in sight and whoever the next guy is, and make sure they don't get more than the time that he has on them. Meaning, don't let Ben O'Connor go 2 minutes up the road, since you don't have any teammates, because nobody else is obligated to pull him back. So as long as you ride like that, you don't have to worry about what the other guys are doing because you're not exposed. But if you let Ben O'Connor go and he gains 2.5 minutes, Ineos is not going to close it down for you. Ineos made an effort yesterday because they wanted to keep Carapaz close. Because if you notice, Ben O'Connor passed Carapaz on the classification. That's why they did the work. So he can't count on that always being the case, meaning another team trying to protect their rider. So what he's going to do, which is what his team will tell him, his coaches will say, watch this guy. All of them do that. They watch the main contenders. And if you watch the race, you will see they will always be close. If they can be there, they'll be close to the guy. That's why when he rode away from those guys in the last mile, 1.4 kilometers, they simply could not stay on his wheel because they wanted to be with him. They just couldn't do it. You know, so he put in the effort to gain a little more time. So he's padding his time. And that's the way you do it. You know, Marx used to go and put 10 minutes on people because he didn't know what would happen the next day or the next week. So you take what you can when you're feeling good. So I hope that helps you. But yes, all he's got to do is watch Ben and watch whoever else is next. But the next guy's like 5 minutes. So all he's got to do is make sure if Ben gets in a breakaway, he needs to be there. That's what's going to happen. Then you don't really need a team because you're up the road anyway. All right, let's see here. Leonard says, do you think Mark Cavendish will retire if he surpasses Eddie Merckx's record of 34 stage wins? I don't believe that's his goal. I believe that Mark Cavendish went through a period that they actually talked about it. He was depressed or whatever he was dealing with. You know, when you're an athlete or anything you're doing and you hurt yourself, it kind of puts you down in the dumps. It was good to hear him admit publicly that he was depressed. You know, depression is not a bad thing if you deal with it because you're just down and you got to kind of get back up. I'm happy to see him doing this. I don't think he's going to stop right now. He's going well, so there's no reason for him to stop. I hope he comes back for a few more years. You know, all it comes down to is, does he feel like he wants to do all the work that got him back here again? And they call it morale. Does he feel like he wants to keep doing this? People retire for different reasons. He's a young man. What is he, 35? Something like that. So he's got some years in his legs, and he's going well. So yeah, he can pick his races. He's with a team that he loves. You know, the situation seems to be good. He's got a good relationship. He was with that team, Quick Step, before. They had another title sponsor at the time, but it was Quick Step something. I forgot the name. So he knows Lefebvre very well. And so he chose to come back at minimum salary just to be with this team. So it wasn't accidental. So they're like a family. They were all very happy when he won that race. So I don't think so. I don't think that's his goal. I don't know. It could be, but he's never mentioned anything like that. I don't think he just wants to to make sure that he leaves the sport on his terms. That's always nice when you can do that. So I'm hoping that that's what happens. There's no reason for him to retire right now. He's riding well. He proved that he could come back. So he's in good condition. Carry that form. Do some more races. So we get to see more of the fast boys. So, yeah, he's up there. He's won a lot of, to win that many stages on the tour, that's a special talent. Because on the tour, everybody wants to win. That's why you see all these crashes. Because it's a big thing when you win a stage, a major stage race. It affects how much you get paid, who comes after you to give you jobs. You know, like I'm saying, a lot of these guys are trying to make sure they get a contract for next year. And the Tour de France is like the best time for them to show what they have so that they can get signed before the winter comes around. You don't want to be looking for work in the winter. So I'm hoping that I don't think he's gonna quit right now. I'll be surprised if he does, because he's where he's wanted. The team likes him. He likes them. Everything seems to mesh. So mentally he seems to be doing really well. So yeah. The tour is a different animal. It's very challenging. They're covering a lot of kilometers, and the terrain is tough. Those mountain passes that they're going on. And then you think about it every day. So you can't ride hard every day. So you got to pick your spots. So Carapaz, I think Carapaz might surprise people. I don't know. I looked at the GC, and some of the riders look like they're going down while Pogacar is moving up. And like I said in the other session, if he doesn't have a bad day, it's going to be one heck of a tour to see. And even if he does, he can have a bad day and still keep them within, reach of not taking the jersey, because the way he time trialed and then the way he rides in the mountains. A lot of times riders that time trial can usually climb very well. So for a light guy like that to win that time trial like he did, I was very surprised. So he really came motivated to get his second tour, and he's well on the way. We'll see. It's not over yet, though. 1 week does not make the Tour de France. It's a long race. All right, guys. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up. So I hope you all had a good Monday, and we will be back tomorrow afternoon at 1600 Central with the review of the stage, the analysis of tomorrow's stage. I'm looking forward to it. So you guys have a great evening, and thanks for joining us here. Thanks for all the feedback. We're trying to keep this channel very dynamic. And I want to involve people in it instead of just putting out video. Thanks for joining. We appreciate all your comments and all your support of the channel. I'm going to answer this last question and then wrap up. He says, Leonard says, have you ever tried time trialing? If so, what's your best time for 10 miles or 25 miles? 52 minutes for 25, and 10 miles was like 19 something, which was pretty good back then. Yeah. I don't like time trialing. It's just hard. So, yeah, but it was pretty good. It was pretty competitive, but it's hard. I don't like time trialing. I like sprinting and stuff like that. I don't like time trialing. I hated climbing. So I had to really work on that. And then working on climbing helped me improve my time trialing. But even now, I could probably train. You have to train specifically, maybe 6 weeks, get ready for time trialing, because it's just, steady power output. But yeah, I could probably still get fairly close to that. I know I can come in under the hour for 40K. Yeah. I don't like to do it because I haven't seen too many riders that like time trialing. You do it because you have to, but it's just hard. And you got to concentrate and you're going hard for the whole time. I train for it by training with time, not distance. So if I know I want to shoot for 55 minutes, then for 55 minutes, I want to be in a certain zone. and just do that time, because I can't control the distance. The weather will influence that. You just have to know that you got to raise your FTP, or your functional threshold heart rate or your functional threshold power. You got to raise that ceiling because you want to stay right near the red. And so you can do it indoors or out. I like to do it on short courses that are quiet, maybe 3 to 5 kilometers, like a loop, and just you go hard for that. So you can incorporate it in a long ride and work for that. But it's not fun training for it. That's why it's always fun going hard with other riders in the group, because you motivate it. But by yourself, to just go hard and hurt yourself like that? No, I don't think the Tour de France is over, Francois. I don't know. He's leading right now, but no, like I said earlier, it's a long race. It's not over. It's not over. Yeah. Yeah, and, regardless of your age, somebody said, oh, the 58 or whatever, cycling is a lifetime sport because we don't have the pounding that running has. And if running can affect your connective tissues and all that, not a guarantee. If you're smart about it and you pay attention to your injuries, you can probably do it longer. But cycling, really, you can do it much longer than the sports that have a lot of pounding on the body. So you can ride and be competitive well into your 60s or whatever. I'm sure they got riders all over the world competing in the different age groups. I read about some guy in his 70s in Europe still climbing mountain passes because the sport is so easy on the body. That's all the more reason why we need all these gadgets, because you can sit there and be riding and not doing that much work. That's the nice thing about our sport. You can ride and talk at a reasonable effort. You can have a conversation while you're moving along. So I like that. So no, I like the sport because it doesn't pound you up. But just make sure that your bike fits you and don't ignore any little complaints your body gives you. And then you will be fine, because you can have injuries while you cycle. Even Bernard Hinault hurt his knee during the Tour. So if something's off, don't ignore it. Your body will let you know you got to deal with that, okay? So you guys take care. We will be doing more of these. We'll be in touch tomorrow at 1600 Central. Have a nice evening.